Mic check, 1, 2. Hey everybody. Less than a minute left and we're on. Go call your friends. Tell them to come on. Call your grandma. I know she really loves the show. Stop what you're doing. If you're at work, stop working. All right, almost there. Almost there. Right on, here we go. Let's switch out. Hey everybody, it's Abe Duque here. Back again. Let's put some background music on. What do you say? Let's get some music going in here. Yeah, here we are. I don't know. How long has it been? It feels like I've been away forever. Let's do some background music while we talk. Just make it a little quieter though while we do that. Yeah, so we took a break last week for Thanksgiving. We're back in full swing now after Thanksgiving holidays. It feels like I was gone for a month. It was only a week. I was kind of sad not to do the show. I was kind of ready to do the show, but they said, hey, maybe we should not do the shows for the Thanksgiving holidays. And I was like, well, okay, fine. But I'm glad to be back with you guys. I am really glad to be back. This is 343 TV. We're here every day at 1 p.m. My name is Abe Duque. I am your Friday presenter. I present the production show. I'm also an instructor at 343 Labs, which is a school that we started, I don't know, about 2 years now. We have 2 years in the school. We teach everything from music production to mixing, mastering, composition, different DAWs, pretty much anything. And we're online, as everybody is these days. Anyway, so we're here, we're back, and we're listening to the sounds of my guest today. I'm not going to keep him a mystery guest. I'm just going to tell you who it's going to be. We'll wait a little bit to put him on, but this is a live set from a good old friend of mine, Patrick Pulsinger, who one of my oldest friends that I know in life and also in the music industry. Kind of came up together at the same time. And it's just this is one of his live sets. We gotta ask him exactly where this was recorded, but pretty nice sound. So let's see what we got going on in the chat. We have Jason Sostek is in the chat. You know, BPMF. Everybody knows BPMF. He says woohoo, and I don't know. I guess something happened that he was very happy about. Let's see who else is in the chat. TWD Industries talking about some situation he had. Let's see, I'm going to start reading some of this. It says, I was doing an open mic with a friend some years back, and we were beat matching my circuit bent Game Boy and Future Retro Revolution 303 clone against his laptop tracker DAW Renoise. And then he goes on to tell his story. If you guys could read his story, there's a lot of stuff in here he writes. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to end, but I'm sure it's very fun. A2Seth is here. What's up, he says. Hello, what's that to you? TWD Industries, Jason Sostek, DJ Tony Islands. DJ Tony Islands is here. And Tetro, whoa, Tetro says, GQ is calling and they were looking to put you on the cover of their music issue, Abe. Hey, you know what? I figure I'd surprise everybody and step it up with a suit today. I think it means it shows you guys that I really care, that I really am interested in, like, you know, putting an effort into having you guys come in here, and because I actually absolutely love having the time with you guys to sit down and talk about the stuff that nobody likes to talk about with me at home, which is music production. All right. So, again, this is beautiful music we're listening to. We're listening to Patrick Pulsinger. Today's topic or today's theme of the show is about live set or live performance woes, and Patrick has a lot of experience playing live. He's been playing live for as long as I know him, and a little later we're going to discuss all the things that go into his live show and so on. But today we're going to maybe focus on discussing what problems can arise when playing live, and lots of things. I know I've played tons of live shows, and I know that there's plenty of things that can go wrong. Once again, you're watching 343 TV. We're here every day at 1 p.m. We have shows, covering everything to do with anything in this electronic music recording, playing, composing, mixing, mastering space. Come into our website, Abe. What's our website? 343labs.com to check out our class schedule. Come to our German website. We have a school now in Berlin. We opened a while back, a few months back, and it's going actually really well at Riverside Studios. 343labs.de to see our German website, which is in English. All right, let's see. So I'm going to lower the music a little bit here and get to talking with you guys. And Jason is talking about my new studio. Yes, I have a new studio. I've moved. I still have the old studio, and you'll see it, again one day when I have to actually be in Queens. I'm here in my new place upstate New York, where I have this new studio set up. John H. Kingston III is here. Hey, John, good to see you're here. John is like he's like my comfort blanket. Every time I see John in the show, I feel everything is okay. And also Andrew Duque. Andrew Duque is the same. Andrew Duque is also here today. All right. So let's go and do a little section. I'm going to get prepared for this. I've started this new thing last time, and somebody told me to keep on doing it. So I figure I'm going to do it again. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the news. Let's do the news. That's right. I'm trying to look pro here, guys. So the news today in the news. Let's see, what do we have? We have a few things. Maybe we talk about some of them, but let's see. We'll talk about. Oh, Jason's in the chat today, and Jason might be interested in this. So Castle has a new device. Castle Drum. The Castle Drum is a special edition of Bastel's classic mini modular synth, focusing on algorithmic industrial glitchy drums. Drum sound synthesis with a unique dynamic acceleration charge envelope makes this rhythm box surprisingly versatile and extremely fun to play. The built-in VC clock generator with a stepped pattern sequencer can either run on its own or can be synchronized to analog clock while retaining the triangle LFO for parameter modulation. So yeah, Castle, that's good stuff there. Jason says yes, Castle Drum. Fake news. Jason says this is fake news. Very, very funny, Jason. Very, very funny. But okay, so yeah, let's keep on going. I'm enjoying this. I feel like a news presenter. That's why I wore the suit. I wanted to really feel like an actual news presenter during this news segment. Let's go on. Let's do the next item in the news. So let's see. The people at Neumann. The people at Neumann have an automatic room correction and acoustic calibration that they've announced, and they're getting in the game. I think there's so many out there. SonarWorks. I've heard of so many of these acoustic and room calibration software. But Neumann has teamed up with the Fraunhofer people to develop the MA1, an automatic acoustic calibration system for Neumann studio monitors. The MA1 system uses a measurement microphone and an integrated DSP of Neumann monitors to help you get the best possible sound quality out of your room and speakers. The best possible sound quality. The Neumann MA1 system consists of individual calibrated measurement microphone and a software that analyzes the data and creates a specific correction profile for your room. However, unlike similar systems like the IK Multimedia ARC and SonarWorks, the MA1 doesn't rely on plug-in that needs to be inserted in your DAW master bus. Instead, its necessary corrections are performed by an integrated DSP on the speakers. Right on. All right, let's go on to our next item on the news. And what do we have here? We have Bandcamp. Everybody, you live performers. Today we're talking about live performance and all the problems with live performance. And Bandcamp's ticket live stream service arrives this month, bringing a new feature to one of the world's most popular and music streaming and retail platforms. Bandcamp has a great reputation for being an ethical, artist-orientated system. Undoubtedly, Bandcamp's decision to waive all the fees until March next year will only earn the platform more fans. So, the new service called Bandcamp Live is fully integrated with the rest of the website. If you're a fan of the band, you'll automatically be alerted when the band is live. Fans can chat with the band, and there's a virtual merch table there as well, so you could sell your merch. Let's see what we say here in the chat. Pseudopulse says, "Welcome back, Abe. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving." Yes, I did. Thank you very much. I had a great Thanksgiving. Ate too much though. I need to go on a diet. All right, let's go on to our next item in the news, and this one comes from the people at Behringer. Behringer doesn't stop. Their cloning madness. Behringer to clone their own BCR 2000 MIDI controller and a Theremin to boot. So yes, they will be cloning themselves. Which is really funny to me because, many people requested a revival of the BCR 2000, but now they're cloning the BCR 2000 and they're coming up with something. I think it's called the BCR 64 or something like that. Would you be interested in this version? I think I would, because it was a very classic MIDI controller at the time. It's just a bunch of knobs, which is what a lot of people would want. Elbow cough. Okay, so should I do this if I cough? All right, Bandcamp Live, let's do it, says Jason. Do you like Sponge Bobby? I will say yes. I'm reading the chat in the middle of the news. So yeah, Behringer's a bit controversial for all their cloning. I mean, recently they just went out and cloned the Arturia keystep, I think, which was a bit of overstep, I think. Sorry for the pun. But now they're doing the Theremin as well. They're calling it the Behrman. The Behrman. Another proposal for the community to consider is Behringer to take is the Theremin, which they're calling the Behrman now. And I think the target price is going to be $99 for that. I mean, you can't lose with that. All right. Let's get off of Behringer for now. And by the way, if you haven't, maybe you could do it now. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit all the other buttons, or maybe give us a like. A like would be very nice. A dislike as well. And every time I say give us a dislike, somebody goes out and hits the dislike button, and then I don't look good. But I don't care. As long as I'm engaging with you guys, I'm having fun. Let's try. Let's see. We have one more thing in the news, and then we can go on to the regular scheduled program. Let's see. I think the last thing in the news is, yes, Bitwig. Bitwig, of course, Bitwig. My favorite DAW is, they have now introduced a new version, 3.3. And 3.3 comes with a couple of very new and interesting add-ons. Specifically, I think the highlight of it is this new polymer device that you could see over to my, that side. There it is, the polymer. But actually, let's have a look at it in person. Let's look at my DAW here, and maybe we could. This is Bitwig, and today I'm using Bitwig to play Patrick's music. But let's have an actual look at the Polymer. The Polymer is super cool. Let's add a instrument here from the Bitwig, and just type it here, Polymer, and let's see what it is. So it's a synth, of course. Come on, hit OK, and it's moving. Okay, come on. Get with it. I don't know what's going on here. It didn't load. Let's try that again. One more time. Polymer. There it is. And I'll hit OK. So there it is, and it seems simple enough and nice enough, but very easy to create a very interesting sound. There's a lot of oscillator choices now, including their new wavetable, which is also something that is new in 3.3, which is their new wavetable oscillator, which is super awesome because it could do, it has quite a great selection of wavetables, and also does a nice amount of 16 voices of unison we can do here. So we're kind of in like a serum world when it comes to this. It's very much sounds, I would say it sounds a little bit like serum, and very much in the direction of how big those sounds could sound coming from this. This is a great device. It looks pretty simple, but it's actually everything you really need to get going. But if you really want to make it something more interesting, you can actually have a look at it in the what is it's a grid. It's a instrument developed in their polygrid situation, where I can actually take this and maybe even right click on it, I think, and I could actually turn it into a polygrid. And now, if it goes into a polygrid, where is it? Yeah, this is the polygrid. So now I still have the Polymer in here, but now I can go ahead and add anything I want and really change it. I could, triple up on the amount of oscillators. I could. It's pretty much a modular system built into here, which is insanity. And we don't have enough time to go into all the details, but good on you, Bitwig, for continuing to push the envelope, push the envelope on what it is that we all want to see in new digital audio workstations. All right, so that's it. Let's see. That's it for the news, and let's just go back to my regular camera here. Let's see what's going on in the chat at the moment. Seems to be a very healthy chat. Wow. So let's see. Pseudopulses, I was wondering your take on saturation when used in the mix on different parts in the track. Do you use one brand of saturator to all the parts, or is it better to use different brands? So saturation, well, saturation is a big, you can't really specify it into one little thing, saturation. Saturation, I think, is just anything that changes the sound via a particular process, whether it's a tape saturation, which actually maybe actual magnetic tape. I think Patrick, who's waiting for us in the green room, is actually having still working with lots of magnetic tape, which is a real process. It's not digitally put in there, but you can have tape emulation, which you can call that saturation, but that would have nothing to do with, like, say, the saturation that you would get from a preamp of some sort, or the saturation that you would get from some sort of overdrive, or something that was created to make saturation happen, like a thermionic culture vulture, or even something like Decapitator from Sound Toys. So I think with saturation, it's an exploration that you need to keep on going with. And I think that adding the same saturation to everything might be a little boring, because you want all your elements to have their own kind of characteristics in them. So that's where I stand on this. Let's see. Nefertiti Gold is joining us. Welcome back, Nefertiti. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Pat Splat is here. Hi from Ithaca. And Enigmatic Onion is here. Hello from Binghamton, New York. Let's see who else we have here. Split RX7, yes, is here. Kevraj, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Kevrage, maybe, too, is also here. Let's see. Lots of stuff going on in the chat. I can't even keep up with it. We are 343 TV. We are here every day at 1 p.m., including Sundays. Some Sundays, maybe 2 in the week, we'll have reruns. But on other Sundays, we'll have feedback sessions. And then Ariel does an amazing mixing and mastering show on the other days. Anyway, I think we should be. I have a whole list of things that I wanted to discuss with you about my situations and my stuff going on when I play live. And I think I want to just put this down and bring in Patrick, because maybe we could talk about all that stuff with him. So if you're in the green room, get ready, put on your pants, because we are starting very soon. So I'm just going to bring in Patrick and see, let's see if this works. Hello, Patrick. Hello, how are you? All right. Okay. You are muted.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
I'm good. I'm here.
Right. So Patrick Pulsinger is a...
Hey, Abe.
Hey, hello, Patrick. But let me introduce you guys to Patrick Pulsinger. Patrick Pulsinger, to me, is one of the most important figures in electronic music coming from the 90s. To me, he was very, very instrumental. Haha, sorry for the pun again. And actually, even bringing me to the right road for electronic music. I met him in New York in the early 90s. He was hanging around here in Harlem and then in Brooklyn at the time where it wasn't as, let's say, gentrified as it is now. It was a very different world back then. And he was hanging around and playing at all the major clubs that I wanted to play at, like the Limelight and, and USA and the Tunnel and places like this. He was all in the club kid world. I mean, I remember him wearing platform shoes when I first met him, sneakers.
Still got them. I still got my platform shoes.
Yeah, but Patrick went on. He went back to Austria. He's Austrian. He's from Austria. He went back to Austria, and then he created some of the biggest collective in that I've ever, heard about in music power from electronic music. And it was a golden age, I think, for Vienna at that time when Patrick spearheaded the whole effort of the whole cheap records, and then there was also the Abuse Industries connection and lots of things. And I was in the middle of all that, and I was glad to be through all that. But next to that, he went also on to release a lot of stuff in his own labels. But then he had some releases on a label from Munich, which I think was one of the most important techno labels of the 90s, which is Disco B Records. And he had his final crowning achievement for his techno period, because I think he went off to have different facets of his career, at least for the 90s techno period, was the Porno album that he did, which was an amazing album. Like if you want to hear something that's really like something to put on in a frame, check that out. Anyway, Patrick, how are you doing? Sorry to talk so much about.
Thank you. No, all good. Thank you. I was listening to you because you were like patting my back here all the time, right? No, it's good. I mean, it's really true. We know each other now for a very long time. It's almost 30 years.
That's right.
And so what can I say, man? New York time was good. Everything you said about that was absolutely true. And we met in the back office of the. I think we first met on a subway station of the L train in Brooklyn.
I got a story. I could tell the story about this because there's a backstory to this whole thing. So I had started trying to make music in the late 80s, and I worked really, really hard at trying to do it. And it was very hard. Even today it's very hard, but back then it was also very hard for different reasons. It was hard to get any traction, and I was really ready to quit. I was ready to die. I was like, I'm going to give up. I'm going to become a carpenter or something. I'm not going to be doing this. And I was talking to a friend of mine who used to work at Tunnel. Her name was Money Penny. and she
Yeah.
was the assistant to Lord Michael at that time, and I was telling her, listen, I'm going to quit, and she was like, no, you can't quit. You know, you're talented. You should keep going, Abe. Come on, you're still young. You have so much ahead of you. And I was like, oh well, maybe, I don't know. And then I hung up the phone, and then a few minutes later, I get a phone call. Hello, my name is Patrick Pulsinger. I am from Austria. I am a producer, and I would like to meet you. And I'm like, what? Apparently, Patrick was in the room where Moneypenny was overhearing Moneypenny's conversation. He said, hey, let me get this guy's number. I'm going to call him. I'm going to hook up and see what's the story. And then we just made a plan to meet each other at a train station somewhere, where he brought me to his studio in Brooklyn. Is that right? Studio.
That's right.
Yeah.
Studio. But
Right.
at the time, you know, like we were just there like on a kind of a vacation ticket. You know, we had to leave the country every 2 or 3 months because we were just, you know, no green card, no status whatsoever. We were just there DJing, making some music. And I really wanted to like meet some people from New York, people that, you know, make music, people that are locally connected. And, you know, you meet a lot of people, and a lot of people just to be like, you know, if they are more, you know, in the game than you are, they will be like, yeah, I'm gonna call you or whatever, you know. But then you don't really you don't really make so much friends, like real kind of friends. And with Abe, when I met him, it was pretty constant that we made friends, you know, that we became friends, because he's, you know, a genuinely a nice person and a really good music producer at the time as well. So to meet him at the time for me also was the door to a totally different kind of scene as well, you know, him being in Hollis and him with his kind of, you know, background of people, of DJs in the area. It was just great, you know. I mean, it gave the whole New York face a totally personal aspect for me, you know.
Yeah, those were the days. And I love you too,
man.
Patrick.
Yeah.
So yeah, but things have moved on. We've both had our careers since then. We've done, you know, I went on to do a lot of things in techno and house music, and so did Patrick. But Patrick also started to build a beautiful studio in Vienna. I mean, you would be jealous if you saw his studio. It's amazing, and under his studio he has his car garage where he works on his cars. That's just like fantasy for me. And not only that, but he's become a very important producer, and he works on so many projects at the time, and records a lot of bands, and has all these different types of projects, including lots of stuff that maybe we should play some of your music. No, what do you say?
Sure.
Right. Let me go back to my DAW here. And
I sent you some old stuff and so also some recent stuff. Also some recent projects I did with a nice guy called Sam Eel together.
Yeah.
He was intern in my studio at some time, because I always have like, I sometimes have like people who do to study, you know, they are like, they become, technicians, or they're musicians, and they need like a place where they can do their practicum, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they come to the studio and they help me for like a month or two, and Sam was one of those guys. And when we met, he was like, I realized that we have the same kind of vibe together, and we come from the same musical background. Like there's one thing we have in common. He comes maybe more from the jazz kind of vibe, and he's a really good piano player. He plays really good Rhodes piano, all kinds of stuff. But we had a common love that is dub music, like original dub music and digi-dub of the 80s. So this is why we kind of came together, and we created this project called Pulsinger and Eel, which is kind of like dub influenced, old school Detroit style techno with like dub elements, and we also do everything live on to tape. And so it's a very old school production for me, and it also kind of takes me back to the time when I started to make music in the early 90s, where everything was from machines, where everything was kind of sequenced at the spot, no multi-track recording, straight to tape or straight to DAT. And so for me, it was a great, just a great thing to do it with somebody again like this, you know.
Right. So I have a few tracks on here. Hopefully we have one of the tracks with him on here. Let's see. We have Benchmarks. Would that be one with him?
No, that's like a jazz project I did around 2000. That for me was a kind of turning point when I started to do more live recorded based music. So I recorded people in the studio, kind of made my own sample packs from musicians and created programmed music out of live recordings. You can play a little bit of that if you want.
Let's play a little bit of that. So while this is playing, could you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, like throughout the 90s, I was mainly doing electronic music of all sorts. But at the studio at that time, it was really hard for me to record any live musician. So I was looking for a studio, and I was actually recording all this stuff here in that studio, which is now my studio, but at the time it was owned by somebody else. So this was actually how I met this place, and I was just looking for a place where I could record musicians together in different rooms. So I had like separated recordings, because I didn't just want to give them like sheet music or didn't want to just write something down. I wanted to record them and wanted to have them improvise, and then later on take the recorded parts and put them together in kind of new pieces of music. So what you hear there was never played like that together. So they kind of improvised together, but I kind of arranged and composed the music later on just from the single recordings.
Did you do this in a computer?
Yeah, I did this in a computer. I did this in '99 on a MacBook G3, Wall Street on a Logic 4, and it took a while because
I could imagine.
And it took a while because there is a lot of audio processing involved, and at the time you really would process a little bit of the song, and then it would kind of take some time. It wasn't real time, you know. You couldn't just like put plugins on and see how it sounded. You would have to select a part, process it. It would take a time, and then you would hear how it sounds actually.
Oh, really? So
it was
wow.
Yeah, man.
Things have changed, no?
I know, but it was an interesting experience, because I was working kind of like 2 years on and off on the whole album, but to wait and to work slow like gave me the chance to listen to a lot of other music in the meantime, to listen to a lot of classic jazz recordings, and I was kind of like in and out of my production, because I had to wait until the computer was finished, and it put me in a special mood. It wasn't, I couldn't rush anything, so it was actually a quite soothing and relaxing production process. I liked it at the time.
And it's also a soothing and relaxing result.
Oh yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's bring this down a little bit, and I gotta
Sure.
take a little pause to just tell and remind everybody we're watching 343 TV. We're here every day at 1 p.m. We are. I don't know what's going to happen during the holidays, but I hope we don't take too many breaks. We are just back from a Thanksgiving break. We come from 343 Labs. I'm an instructor there. My name is Abe Duque. I teach Ableton. I teach mixing and mastering. I teach several different things. I'll teach you anything you want me to teach you. Just come on down to our website, 343labs.com, so you could see what the new classes, the upcoming classes. I have a bunch of new classes that are starting actually this weekend, and even ones that are starting in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to get down with the new classes, come on and check us out, 343labs.com, 343labs.de for our German site, which is in English. Anyway, let's go back to our scheduled program here. That's beautiful music. I'd hate to stop playing it, but I'm going to stop playing it. I'm going to stop it because I want to play something else. That's why. So let's go. Let's try something else. So we have.
What else do you have?
I have Hot Boots Are No Fun. I have.
That's from the same album. That's a kind of similar vibe. But maybe you can play. Let me see. What's that? I can't really see. Like there's like a remix I did recently for a Berlin based band called Hope. They are pretty good, and I produced some of their.
Is it Shame or something like that?
It's Shame, yeah. It's Shame.
Let's have a listen.
And that's like some poppy stuff with vocals, and I did like a more kind of like classic techno-y 909 drums style remix of it, and I think it came out really nice.
All right, let's have a listen.
All of my shame is one word.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I have to say.
You have to say what?
I have to say the original is pretty good as well. You know, you can't beat a really good, like you can't kill a really good song, because I love the band. I love the female singer. She's really like, she has a really minimalistic, very atmospheric style to sing. I love her voice, and I used a bunch of the original sounds from their recording, because they are drums, synths, guitar, and voice. That's what it is. And I just programmed a little bit of synths to it and some other drums and so, but the basic mood is really in the original track. So it was a kind of no-brainer to do it, and I'm really happy with the result, because the voice and the electronics kind of like create a really nice really nice, deep and dark atmosphere. I like that.
Jason Sosnick says that this is make-out music.
Makeup, that's good. That's good. You know, if I like to make, if you make make-out music, everybody likes to make out. So you make music for everyone.
All right. All right.
No, who doesn't like to make out?
Yeah. Who doesn't like to make out? All right.
Yeah.
Let's bring this down. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit.
Sure.
You have ready. I mean, today's subject is basically about playing live, right? I know that you've played a lot live in your career. I mean, I think the first time I came to Vienna, we played live in Vienna, I think, together at the U4.
I think so too. Yeah, at the U4 at Rancho Relaxo All Stars, man.
That was, but we were upstairs as well. You remember we played with Helmut.
Yeah.
Remember Helmut?
Of course.
It was 3M and Abe Duque. You had a project called 3M at that time. And so you know what it is to be out on the road. And for a lot of you that are writing music now and are, looking to get out there and have the world listen to your music, that these days it's almost kind of a requirement to play live, even though back in those days it really wasn't the big requirement to play live, because you could make records and sell them and just relax at home and smoke a cigar and collect all the money, right? but if you wanted to, it was only if you really wanted to play live then that you could play live. But now it's like it's almost required that you need to present yourself in order to kind of make some money, if you want to make some money, right? At least that, but even just for the love, right? But playing live is not easy sometimes. It seems to be easy. I tell you, I remember one of the first times that I ever played live. I played in Berlin. I think I was asked to play in Berlin. Okay, so I think we're on live again. I don't know what happened. Once again, this happened to me last time. Once again, we've been cut off. Patrick is back.
I'm good. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. It wasn't you, Patrick. It was actually I don't know what happened. We a whole stream got knocked off. We're back though in the game.
No problem.
I think. Patrick is here. His music. You also need to start your other your phone.
I know. I will,
because it's off at the moment. But I see on the internet we're back and people are somehow still with us. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what this glitch is all about.
I just start this.
We were having such a great time. But I was telling a story about when I played in Berlin for the first time. I came there. I'm sure that I had it. I was very confident that everything would be fine. I was sure that I was asked to play 45 minutes. And I thought, well, 45 minutes, I can do this show. 45 minutes, no problem. I started to go through and make my stuff. I was having a great time getting everything going. And thought, man, I'm rocking this, and I really was doing well at the show. And then I was like, all right, let me just start winding it down to finish the show. And then I looked at my watch, and I had only played 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. That's that did not only happen to you, man. That's very common situation.
The time kind of changes, right? By the way, Patrick, there's like a doubling in the vocals, in the voice. I don't know what it's actually due to at the moment.
I'm sorry. Wait a second.
Yeah. So yeah, that whole time when you play live, time changes, and you have to be ready for that. You kind of end up in another parallel universe while you're playing. It could either go slower than you think it's going, speed up and go faster than you think it's going. You rarely kind of go one-to-one with the actual in the actual way that you actually that you think time is progressing. So yeah, you have you had experiences with a 45-minute set is no joke, says Nefertiti Gold, and yeah, no, it really isn't a joke. A 45-minute set really, and we lost Patrick, I think, again. But we'll kind of hang out here until he comes back. I'm sure he'll just pop right back in. Let's see. John H. Kinton says, see what happens with live. Great. See what happens live. Great example. Yeah. So many things really can go on. So I have a little list here of things that maybe you might want to think about when you are playing live. Have a backup plan. You should always have one or at least two backup plans. I used to play live with Ableton Live for many years, and while I was doing most of my touring, I think I played more with Ableton Live than with anything else. And I figured out pretty early that if I was going to go on stage with Ableton Live, that I really needed to have a second, like a redundant backup plan. And my redundant backup plan was to play with two computers, both with the same set, one ready to go and one playing, which I was playing from. And if it ever happened, and it did happen, it didn't happen every day because, you know, a lot of the times things would just work. But I would say maybe 3% of the time or 2% of the time you'd have a glitch where one computer would crash or something would happen with the interface or something that wasn't working with that computer. And here we have it. Patrick is back again. And yeah, I was just telling about what would happen, to me sometimes when I was playing live and I didn't have a backup plan. Well, having a backup plan, which was for me to play with two computers, if the one computer would die, I would just switch to the next one. Or even after a while, not playing with two computers, but maybe with a drum machine that would be ready to go, that I could just jump and hop on and start making stuff. I have a funny story. I played at this club in Berlin called Berghain. And I was setting up for the show, and I had my computer, and then I had a drum machine to the side, and I was just testing a kick drum, bass drum on the sound system. And then the sound guy said, "Yeah, all you really need here is a bass drum." And then I did have a bit of a problem with my computer dying out, and then I just switched to the drum machine, and I started to play the bass drum. And then I got on the mic and I put my with pitch shifter, put my vocals down. And I started just to say, "All you need in Berghain is a bass drum," and then I just kept on repeating that and playing a bass, and it was true. I went for like 3 or 4 minutes with just a bass drum, and everybody was happy and loving it. But having a backup plan is always what do you do, Patrick, to back up to have like as a security blanket?
Well, to be honest, the thing is, I never liked playing with computer. That's my whole drive. As long as I play live now, I'm trying to avoid the computer. When I started to play live, there was just simply no computer around that I could take on stage, because I used to take 909, 808, 101, like a whole box of gear, just put it up on stage, connect it to a mixer, to like a 16-channel Mackie mixer or something, and then you would just create with the patterns that you had in the machine. So if one thing breaks down, you still have like 4 or 5 other devices. So that's a totally different story. And as long as you're not totally drunk or whatever, and you're on top of the situation, things can go wrong, and you are still
totally
able to
drunk.
play. Yeah, and you're still able to play,
Right.
So the thing is, as soon as computers and laptops came around, the things with like total breakdowns and like freezing black screens and all of this stuff, like disconnected audio interfaces, all this shit started actually with the laptop on stage.
Right.
So the time where I used a laptop on stage was a very, very short, brief time where I also tried that, using Ableton with outboard gear synced up, and so I had problems with computers, not like crazy, but I just never liked the motion of having a screen in front of me, because you tend to look at the screen and not at all the other stuff and to the audience.
Right, so you're in a different world. You're like not even in the same place with them. It's like
exactly true. It is true.
And it also looks weird. Like, what is that guy doing? Checking his emails or?
Yeah, I mean, this is another thing. I mean, I'm saying I'm not taking the piss here for people that play straight on, because I've seen amazing things done just with a laptop and a controller, and there are people out there who more than have their shit together, So, but just for me personally, like, the situation didn't really work, because I'm a gear dude, I like to work with gear. I like to keep my hands on stuff. I need to cable stuff. I like pedals. I like, external stuff. I like noise. I like crackling with cables. So the thing for me always was like, how can I make an advanced sound in the studio that I can kind of also then put on stage without sounding like amateur version of what I do in the studio.
Okay,
You know
now
what
you're
I'm saying?
teasing us. Now you're teasing us.
Yeah.
Now
Now
maybe
I'm
you should
teasing
show us a little bit about what you did.
Yeah.
I
So
know
the
that you
thing is,
prepared something. Yeah.
I prepared something. So let me explain this first, like how I was working, because I was thinking about this for some time, and what I use in the studio a lot is tape machine. I'm a really big fan of multi-track tape machines. If it's like the small cassette ones, you know, with 4-track, everyone, you know, older than 40 knows what I'm talking about. But also like professional ones, like I use a Studer A80 16-track 2-inch tape machine in the studio. So I use this for band recordings, but I use it also for my electronic stuff. So when I make live jams, I just jam this stuff on tape. So I get a certain, you know, tape saturation. I think it was, you were explaining it before. I get a certain tape saturation. I have a limitation where I only concentrate on 16 channels, which is also a very important point for me. I like limitations. I like to kind of break it down to like less tracks. I hate projects that contain 60 or more tracks. I really try to concentrate on the pure idea, and if I can fit an interesting track on 16 recording tracks, then everything is okay, you know. There can be stuff done on top of that, but I think the basic idea of a good track should easily fit on a 16-track tape or on a 16-track computer project, you know. So tape for me always was appealing on a lot of different levels.
Right on.
But there is the thing, if you have a tape running, like how would you, like what would you play? You know, a tape is not a very it's not a very active format, you know. Once something is on the tape, it's on the tape, you know. There's not much you can do about it. But with a multi-track recording, you even you have the possibility like to split up your tracks, and then what I tried a lot is to synchronize it with other drum machines or other gear, so that you can actually play live on top of the pre-recorded tape material. And this is what I did. This is the kind of setup that I started, and I'm gonna move over there.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna
please,
just
please,
give
been waiting
I'm
for
gonna
this.
just give you a little overview of what I have. Just a second, please. Okay.
All right, and in the meantime, while Patrick is setting up, just remember, everybody, we're here at 343 TV. We're here every day from, I guess, even Sundays. We're here every day from 1 p.m. every day. We're here covering topics of, mixing, mastering, all the DAWs that you could imagine, composition, sound design, everything you want to learn, we got you. We got you. So come down to 343labs.com and check out our class schedules. We have a lot of class starting very soon. So even this weekend, I have like 2 or 3 classes starting myself. If you want to get down with me in one of these classes, you better get on now. Okay, so yeah, Patrick has just come in with his studio.
I think I'm back.
Yeah, you are back. You're back. And
you
I'm
hear
just
me?
going to make
That's
your
good.
studio a little bit bigger here. I'm going to make my face a little bit smaller and put myself on the side. Well, I lost myself,
Can you see me
but
as well?
I can see you, man. I can see you.
I can see you now, but we just talk. Okay. Well, this is just my little corner where my live set fits on. For me, the first priority for a live set is when you move away from using a laptop and a controller and you use hardware, is you can transport it, and you can't transport it alone. So you must be able to carry it alone in a quick step from the taxi to the airplane, for example. You're saying,
From the taxi to the airplane, okay.
Or you carry it like from the taxi through the woods to an outdoor location or something, because you not always have people who can help you carry your stuff. So for me, my equipment fits in a box that I can actually put on the belt and just put on the plane, and I can carry it myself. So there is not a lot of things involved. It's just one bag and a little backpack. And what you see here is my beloved Fostex R8 8-track tape machine. And this was my wet dream when I was a teenager, and I started to be interested.
You're a weird teenager, man.
I know, you know. But like when I was interested in multi-track recording, first the only thing I could really afford was a Fostex X26 4-track tape machine. But at the time, you could also buy this extremely gorgeous quarter-inch 8-track tape machine, but it was too expensive at the time. And just like maybe 2.5 years ago, because I always had this fantasy of playing with a multi-track tape recorder live. I found this one on eBay or something like this, and I picked it up here in Vienna, and I restored it. It was in good condition, but I restored it so it was really bulletproof. I can kind of put it on a belt on a trolley, and it wouldn't break down after, you know, like 3 live sets or something like this. So I rebuilt it, I recapped it, did all the all the mechanical stuff. So the machine is running really solid. And you can maybe see here, like this is all I use. I use the tape machine. I use this 606, Roland 606 drum machine, because it's small, it's light, it can be run on battery. And the other thing is, it's the only drum machine from Roland you can switch from write to play while it's actually playing. So you can actually play a pattern, switch to write without stopping it, and reprogram the pattern while the whole show is running. You can't do that on a 909, you can't do that on an 808, but you can do it on the 606. And here is maybe the most important piece for syncing this together. This is a SND clock device that actually takes square wave audio clocks to synchronize everything together. So on the tape, on one channel here, there is a square wave clock sample playing throughout the whole song. And this one actually synchronizes all my other devices, the drum machine, the chaos pad, this little sampling slicer thing. You can hook it up to a modular synthesizer. You can hook it up to a 303, to a 101. It gives out DIN sync, it gives out MIDI, and it gives out clock. So whenever I hit that button and the tape is starting to run, the trigger will keep all my other stuff in sync. So it's really extremely bulletproof. I love the simplicity of it, because it's just like hardwired together. There's no USB or whatever involved. It's just good old MIDI sync. And the other thing which is also cool is the machine has a pitch. You can pitch the machine, and when I pitch the tape, everything runs to it. So I can actually slow the tracks down and pitch them up real time, and everything stays in sync.
Nice. Right. So can we see a little bit of it in action?
Yeah, sure. I have connected. I hope it's gonna work. I have connected it to my other. I mean, this is gonna work. I hope it's gonna play into the other computer. I just show you how it goes. I just hit play here. You can see here stuff is gonna start playing, and I've just put it here on my mixer. And so, wait a sec. So you hear stuff, yeah? You hear something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the view of your other camera now, the opposite camera where we see the ARP 2600 now. You have to switch it back to the...
Okay, I'm sorry.
Super.
How is that, better?
Great.
Okay, so you can basically see here is like stuff coming out, 8 channels, and the last channel here is the trigger. looper and all this other stuff. And so what I do is I record. I don't record ready-made tracks on the tape. I kind of record sequences that I can then later here with all this with these 8 channels. I can just loop them, bring them in, bring them out. I can decide, for example, I don't want to use beats. I just want to use like, you know, ambient desk parts of it. I can loop them. I can stack them on top of each other. So what I do actually is not just playing back the music, but I create an arrangement out of the pre-recorded tracks that I have. So it's a kind of how can I say? It's kind of dubbing, remixing of the stuff that I have recorded.
Nice.
So I don't worry so much about making music on the spot. I worry more about manipulating it, making loops, rearranging it. So it's a very relaxing process because once everything is running, you don't have to worry about switching patterns and stuff because there is always something there that you can modulate. And I think by playing alone, just by yourself, it can be very stressful if you do everything on your own. And it's also, I find it very hard to make an interesting arrangement. But if I only concentrate on the arrangement and not so much on the making of the music and on the tweaking of every little synthesizer, I can just be more creative, I think, you know? So I bring beats back. So a lot of the stuff that is on there is just like pre-recorded lines that I put on different tracks. So I have the 303 on an extra channel.
Right.
I have the 101 in there on an extra channel. The bass drum, the beats, and so I kind of like take out little samples. I manipulate them. I chop them up. I stack them with the Chaos Pad. And there's also one thing which is interesting. I love this for other 2 reasons. First, it really sounds great because once you recorded all this on the tape in the club sounds amazing. Because I use Dolby, so there is almost no hiss on it. Mm-hmm. And to compensate for the loss of high frequencies on the Dolby, what I do is I just use a lot of high gaining EQs when I play it actually on the tapes. So I play it quite hot and with a lot of high frequency on the tape to take into account what it takes away. What I do usually is I take some noise recording onto the tape, and then I record what's actually recorded on the tape, and then I use an analyzer to see which frequencies are being treated by the tape. And if I see that there is a little dip going down on the highs, I will just take them up for the recording to compensate what actually comes out from the tape. So nice. You can really twist the sound on the tape like crazy. I'm totally positive that this sounds better than any sound card out there straight from the computer.
Yeah, so some questions here. Somebody, let's see, Regine would like to have a list of your equipment. Just maybe you could just sound off the equipment just one more time for.
Here, what I use here.
For your live set.
Okay. Well, I mean, it always depends a little bit. This is like my minimum thing I use. But
so just talk to us about what you have right there right now.
What I have. I have the Fostex R8 tape
Yeah.
machine. So this
Yeah.
is like my main player. Then this here is it's a SND clock device. It's
Mm-hmm.
called exactly SND Acme 4.
Mm-hmm.
It stands for Advanced Clock Management System. It's not cheap. It's €1,000,
Okay, that's
but
not cheap.
it's the heart of my whole studio, because I also use it in the studio. If I want
Mm-hmm.
to sync up all my old drum machines, everything, all my old sequencers like the Korg SQ10,
Mm-hmm.
or like even stuff that takes MIDI click, or whatever you want to sync up, you can sync it up with this. You can hook it up to the computer. You could hook it up just by USB, or you could hook it up with the audio signal. So whatever you use for sequencing, this is like this is my main clock management engine here. To take it live, it's amazing, because you have 4 channels, and you can start and you can stop each channel individually, and they will always jump back. They will always come back in time. So you can
Mm-hmm.
stop the drum machine, you push it again, it waits until the next one and comes back. You
Right.
can swing every channel. So even stuff that doesn't have a swing, like a 303, you can
Mm-hmm.
swing the sync signal. You can push the signal forward and backward slightly,
Wow, that's pretty
just a
advanced.
little bit, Also, you can put 16ths forward and back, so you can
Hmm.
jump. You can jump in the sync signal to like another space in the bar.
Right.
So it's a very creative sync engine. I sync up to 606 with this, but sometimes I take to 808 or a 909 or an Electribe ER1.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to sync up to it, it's great. This is a Chaos Pad, normal Chaos Pad 3. I use this because I still like the effects, and I
Mm-hmm.
still really love the 4 loop options. I don't need more, like 4 loops here to stack them up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy syncable via MIDI, which is also then synced with the box. That means even the effects are synced to the tape.
Right.
So actually, when I take the pitch down, also the loops follow, and
Nice.
it's really convenient. And then I have this really cheap Boss slicer here. It's SL20. I know a lot of people hate it because it sounds kind of rough, but I like it because it has a wet and a dry button, and you can do like random stuff. It has like a kind of like random panning thing, and so I just use it on, let's say, on the drums, on the extra drums. So if you have a full set of drums recorded on there, let's say there is like a clap, a hi-hat, and a snare playing,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to thin that out, I just use the slicer, and I just set the envelope at the attack and the decay, so I can just pick out little slices of this full drums, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's also a looper, and I could just like loop that part and freeze it, and even if the tape is running out, or even if I stop the original recording here, I still would have the loop running in time.
Nice.
So it's just a very convenient little die-hard looper thing that you can pick up for like $50. Nobody
And you could fit all
likes
this
it.
in a suitcase?
Yes, and this is all fitted in the kind of flight case thing that has wheels on it, and I just put it on the airplane. I just put that on the belt. I don't even think twice about it. And
You're a brave man.
It's under 25 kilos. It's
Right.
22 kilos. All of that is 22 kilos. And I have all my cables in there. I have I made like a breakout cable from the machine. So what I do when I come to the club is I don't even bring a mixer, because I play this over a 4 stereo channel, let's say like a DJ 900. Or you can play it over any kind of DJ mixer, because
Right.
I use stereo. I use stereo tracks, so I can just play on every DJ mixer that has 4 separate channels.
Wow. Okay. That's and once again, the Fostex,
Yeah.
the number of that again.
Yes.
Which version is that?
R8.
The Fostex R8. Nice.
Fostex R8. you can pick those up. I mean, the only thing is, I have to warn you, most of them, they're from the 80s. Most of them are really, they're kind of broken or on the verge to break. I mean, there is a
So they
lot
need
of
servicing.
plastic. Yes, they need servicing. If you want to take this on stage, what I did, I mean, you don't know if you want to go that far, but I took all the plastic parts, like all the plastic wheels that are in there that
Yeah.
hold some belts in place and all
Uh-huh.
this stuff. I took them all out and remanufactured them in aluminium.
You're a freak.
With
You're
a, with
definitely
a,
an Austrian freak.
but it really, I mean, I tell you, like the machine is rock solid. There is like nothing that can stop the machine. And the other thing is, wait, I switched this off. A tape like this is maximum 26 minutes long. So
Whoa.
when I play a live set, I do tape changes in the middle of my
Ooh.
live set,
Sweet.
which is an extra adrenaline rush for me, and people see that I'm actually changing tape. You know what I do? I do like loops. I do like loops in the meantime. So I see the tape is approaching the end. I do like loops, and while the tape is starting, the loops are running. So
All right.
practice this, and I practice the tape change in the studio, and I can do like a tape change within a minute.
Blindfolded?
So a minute? No.
Drunk?
If I have to,
One arm
blindfolded,
tied behind your back?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. But the good thing is, like you have like loops running in the meantime. You know, you can put like a motion thing here going. So it's really and like a break in the middle of your set for like a minute where something is just swirling around is not a bad thing, you know. So
No,
it
it's
kinda
not a
gives-
bad thing.
And then I have this then I have these tapes here, and these tapes always contain, let's say, like sometimes 3, sometimes 4 tracks. So I can take more of these tapes, and I can also select the next tape, you know, concerning to the crowd. So I can like switch my live program around, you know. If let's say if I start with something acid thing, and then I see people like a more harder thing, I have a tape with like 3 more harder techno orientated songs. I can just kind of like DJ my way through my live set, you know. And that's quite nice.
That's pretty awesome, man. Wow, Patrick,
Yeah,
thank you so much for sharing all this with us. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. Actually, we went overtime, but it's fine. It's great. We have people watching. We're having a great time here.
Good.
So just tell us a little bit about what you got coming up. Any releases coming up? And you told me about the whole cheap catalog and all that stuff.
Yeah, I do stuff, as I mentioned before, with a guy called Sam Eel together. We do like EPs frequently that are on Bandcamp. It's Pulsinger and Eel. You can find us on Bandcamp. But we also do vinyls in limited editions. They are available through Hardwax. But also I do a lot of productions for other people. At the moment, I do like a band thing, and I work with the choir. And so it's always on off.
And the choir?
No, and a choir as well. So
Okay.
totally different thing, like just
Yeah,
voices.
yeah, I
you know?
bet.
That's again a totally different thing. But what's really cool right now is the label you mentioned. I was running with Erdem Tunakan for about 30 years now. I mean, I still don't do it since 2002, but Erdem is still doing it. And his Cheap Records, and I just last year, or maybe over a year ago, I remastered the whole Cheap catalog from number 1 to number 50. That's over 300 tracks, and because most of this stuff, it was a lot of mastering. Most of this stuff was only available on vinyl, and now it's available in digital form for the very first time. And there's really some extremely rare goodie stuff on there. We remastered the whole bonus 7 inches we did at the time, 10 inches we did at the time. Of course, there's people like Robert Hood with Nighttime World. There is the classic IO stuff. There is Sluts and Strings, DJ Seal from Vienna.
Right, my wife, actually.
Your wife did her first EP on our label. It's now digitally available. It's on TrackSource. It's basically everywhere. If you want to check it out, it's called Cheap Classics. So this is going on right now. We're rolling out the whole catalog in the next couple of weeks because we do like kind of moderated chunks of music, because if we just would put it out there, it would be just too much, you know, like people would go like, whoa. So we kind of put some releases together in like maybe like 10 to 15 releases at a time. And also probably in beginning of next year, in January, the whole thing would also go up on Bandcamp. So
people are asking for your website or your Instagram or all your handles, Twitter.
I have an Instagram, but there's nothing on it. So so I mean, you know, I'm old school.
Do you have a cheap website, a cheap records website?
There's a cheap records website. It's www.cheap.at. There is also feedback-studio.com. That's my website here from the studio, where I also post recent stuff. And of course, you can find me on Facebook. I'm old school. I'm on Facebook. So most of the stuff that's coming up, I regularly post on Facebook as well. And so if you want to find me, there are ways to find me nowadays. It shouldn't
I think it's not hard.
Shouldn't be that hard. That's right.
All right, Patrick. Thanks again for being a great sport and coming in and showing us a little bit what's going on behind the scenes here. It's an amazing studio, as far as I could see. We should do another one of these and have a tour of your studio, because I know you have recording rooms and all sorts. But anyway, we have to say goodbye now. Thanks, everybody, for watching 343 TV. My name is Abe Duque. Come to our website at 343labs.com or 343labs.de and check out our classes. Come in with us and have a class. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.